Hello again, and welcome to another of Mosaic's coffee breaks. Mosaic is, of course, a collaboration of the organisations shown at the front of this presentation, and that collaboration focuses very much on the ownership issues associated with mid-market law firms. And when we say ownership, we mean everything associated with ownership, mergers and acquisitions, partnership structures, succession planning, partner exits, and everything associated with all of those issues. I hope you enjoy this broadcast.
Well, hello and welcome back to another Mosaic coffee break. Myself, Howard and Tom, and what we thought we'd just do this morning with our coffee is chat through one or two interesting things that are on our desk, which is not just an excuse for us not having thought of anything else to talk about, but it tends to get us thinking about what's in the market and what issues are challenging us. So, Howard, in your very flash office there, what's on the desk?
Yes, trying not to jump through the window, but yes. What's over my desk? It's interesting, back to a good old-fashioned merger. Two firms, admittedly not of the same size, but very similar culturally, wanting to do a merger. And I think it might be one of these genuine mergers, in spite of the fact there is a disparity in profitability and number of partners. Might just be a genuine merger. And it comes back to the old fundamentals of how do you put a merger together. And my instructions at the moment are to act as an honest broker between the two firms to sort out how a merger might happen. And my starting point, as Tom will know, is to look at the value of each practice. What is what are they each valued on using the same set of metrics? And then having done the valuation, and then that allows you to look at the capital structure and the capital ownership of the two merged firms, then to look at profit sharing structure. And that will be my next step, having looked at the values, of agreeing with them how they're going to share profits going down the line.
Can I say, Howard, we've always said for the last how many years, there's no such thing as a merger. So you said they're different sizes. Is this just you being polite to say it's not an acquisition?
No, it's one that I've been on the fringes of for 20 years, and they've failed to get this merger over the line for 20 years. And I do actually think it's a genuine merger, even though there are disparate differences in size and background. I think they are generally culturally very similar. So I think it may be one of those unusual ones.
But who's going to get the corner office?
Haven't debated that with them yet. They've agreed the name, they've agreed the managing partner. So those are the two, and I think they've agreed how to deal with their cars. So the three
These are the
most
big
fundamental
tickets.
issues.
These are the big things. And we won't get as far as the photocopier. So, okay, now that's been really interesting. So actually a genuine merger. And what's on the desk in Sheffield, Tom?
What's on the desk in Sheffield? Oh, well, I'll specifically to mergers, I'll come back. Just because of the timing of this recording, the SRA has just closed its consultation around client money. It's come to its definitive answer on client money. That's not directly related, of course, to the buying and selling of law firms, but it's a very live issue in the profession. I suppose to try and relate it slightly tangentially to the buying and selling of law firms, it does create the basic idea is that you create a three-way split between the managing partner, the culp, and the coffer. They are three human beings, and in a lot of firms, it's often the same human being. So isn't that interesting as you are going through sort of law firm M&A? How does that play out? In our PE house examples, actually, we have to sort of explain this idea that there's a sort of deliberate three-way split at the top of the firm because that's how the regulator insists that we do it, and sort of how each one of those can sort of overrule one another, if you see what I mean. It's not as simple as a PE house might understand it, that the managing director is the boss. No, that's not actually quite how it works. So yes, this sort of idea that there has to be a three-way split at the top of the firm.
Interesting. I mean, just a slightly different point. Something I've been instructed on this week is the setting up of a new law firm that's going to have some equity investment from a US law firm, and trying to get them to understand how these things work, and that actually they can't necessarily have full control because you've got all the regulations, and Culp and Coffer and all of these things has been quite interesting. So I've got that ongoing. Just I was looking through my list of what's on. I've got, I think, 3 sales and 2 purchases currently pootling along on the desk at the moment. Anything exciting? Not particularly. So getting SRA approval for changes seems to be taking longer as it goes on. In terms of getting people approved to be new owners, etc.
Well, that's my big continuing beef is dealing with any of the main clearing banks. It's almost impossible to get a deal over the line in any reasonable timescale, even with the same relationship director who started the conversation. You nearly always end up with a different relationship director by the time you get the money out through the door, if you get it out through the door.
Yeah, but just the same, range of consolidation, a couple of interesting disputes, I suppose I could say. An interesting one where there's a moral. 3 people set up a law firm. It's an LLP. They downloaded the LLP agreement from one of these sites, paid 250 quid for it, have fallen out. And this is just, sort of a hard sell from my point, get a decent LLP agreement, because now they're trying to rely on it and it doesn't work very well. But maybe that's what you get for 250 quid. So, anything else? It was just a fairly brief coffee break, but this is what we're all doing at the moment. If there's nothing else that anyone's excited about, we'll leave you to get on with your days. But thank you as ever for listening in, and we'll be back soon.